Hi, welcome back. So today I'm going to be giving a quick introduction to CSS. We're going to be going through what it actually is, why it's used, and what actually does CSS do. So before we get started, if you're just starting out this course and you don't really know the prerequisites, make sure that you do have a little bit of HTML experience. It's not recommended, it's not needed, but it's highly recommended because we're going to be using a lot of HTML in this course. And although we're not going to be writing any directly, it would be really helpful to know some. So I do offer a free HTML course. It's really quick, 1.5 hours, and you should be good to go and up and running in just 1 or 2 days. So if you don't know any HTML, you can go and check that out. And if you do know HTML, continue watching along. So first of all, let's get started. What actually is CSS? So if you don't know what it stands for already, it's called Cascading Style Sheet. So from that name, you can pretty much assume that this is used to style websites. So unlike HTML, which is used to create structure and actual website content, this is mainly used to give it that visual flair, to make the websites look good. So CSS is pretty much what makes a website stand out from websites from the early days, from the early 2000s. And things like that. So that's what really makes a website stand out, is the CSS, or the styling. So this pretty much goes hand in hand with HTML, as it's said here. They work almost consistently together, and they're always used all the time together. So let's go ahead and check out some pages that look with CSS and without. So you can see here that this is the page with CSS. So you can change all of the layout options, you can make font changes, text manipulation, all sorts of things, which we're all going to be doing in this course, or learning to do. And then this is the website without without CSS. Looks pretty standard, right? Obviously, this looks just like a normal website that doesn't have any HTML, apart from some font changes. But you can see that the difference that something like this makes. CSS will completely change the way a website looks if it's used correctly. So the next slide is just a little bit of information about CSS. We're going to be going way more in depth into all of these points later. So a CSS file is saved in the .css format. We're going to be doing that in the next few videos. There's some information about selectors and things like that. Like I said, you can just read through this. I'm not going to go through it because we're going to talk about it way more in detail in the next few sections. But for now, this is just a little bit of general information about CSS. Alright, so now that you know what CSS is, why don't we go ahead and get started working with CSS.